We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm rolling with just a fire squad today in here. We got King Louie producing. What up, Louie? You doing good, man? You've been in here since, what, 4:30 a.m.?
5.
5? You're a beast.
Yeah.
Sam Rutherford is in the newsroom. No Joan Jones today.
I'm honored to fill in.
Jones said, I got enough. I've had enough of this place. She said, it was Thursday afternoon. She said, I've had it up to here. And then she stormed off. And we just thought it was Philly Joan being Philly Joan, but we haven't heard from her since.
I hear she's out in the woods somewhere. That's all I know.
Yeah, she's on a camping trip, right?
Yeah.
She's on a camping trip. Joan's off today and on Monday. But don't worry. She will be back. Unless she second guesses it and decides not to.
The woods are calling out in Tennessee this time of year, buddy.
It's a weird day. We had Brian in for Dan. Dan was off. Dan is the only guy I know that he takes a couple days off and then still works anyway. Because he was doing Red Eye Radio. And yesterday he was in here to do the podcast. He's the only guy I know. He's like, yeah, I'm going to take a couple days off. And I'm like, what are you doing for your days off? He's like, I'm working. Oh, I don't think that's how it works. I think you're doing it wrong, Dan.
The perfect day off.
That's like, yeah, Dan's perfect day off. I'm going to work 2 other jobs. Like, what? Why would you do that? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Classic Dan. We got a big night tonight. Baseball playoffs continue.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. And I'm nervous. The commissioner's been sniffing around. I've been having side action going on the games, and after this NBA betting scandal's exploded, I'm worried that Murfreesboro Little League is going to get taken down next. I'm panicked. Nobody better narc on me. I've been paying off umps. I've been so dumb. No, man, I'm really excited. I got 2 Little League games, and by the grace of God, they're in the fields next to each other, so I can bounce from one game to the next.
That's awesome.
It's going to be a wild. I'm going to get my steps in.
Right?
I'm excited.
Little head on a swivel action, be able to go back and forth.
Go Astros and go Mariners. Almost flubbed that one. We're going to have a good night. It's funny that one of my kids is on an MLB team that was also embroiled in a cheating scandal. Again, if anybody in the Murfreesboro Little Leagues ask you any questions about our betting scandal, you know nothing. So dumb. You'd be surprised. Some of the parents in these Little League games, you would think that they do have money riding on the game.
Are you not one of those parents?
No. I just hope everybody has a good time.
You hope that both teams win.
One of our grandmoms got yelled at by the ump last game. He said it's enough out of you. I said to her, I'm just glad you're on our side. She's awesome. Listen, for the record, she was right. Let the record show. But the NBA betting scandal, I do think that this is a big story, and I think it's a big story that we need to cover because I don't think that the sports industry is covering it the right way. And I think that they are running from this. They don't want anybody to think that the games aren't on the up and up, but we've known this for years that this stuff is off. Now, I'm not going to go full Alex Jones, tinfoil hat, magnetic ball, though I've watched the videos on TikTok. But the NBA, it's been a little bit sketchy for a while. And I'll just say this as a Celtics fan. And I grew up a Celtics fan, and I will die a Celtics fan. I don't watch the games anywhere near as much as I used to, but I'm, it's in your blood. What are you going to do? Terry Rozier, who is one of the players that is embroiled in this cheating scandal, absolutely threw Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals when he was on the Celtics. He threw that game. I would bet any amount of money on this, and I'm not a gambler. He threw that game in 2018, Game 7 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We should have gone to the finals, and he threw the game. 2 of 14 shooting, 0 for 10 from 3. You can't tell me. Scary Terry was on a heater that year, and then he came out and he scored 4 points. Garbage. And at the time, we thought, that feels off. And then years later, it feels like we're vindicated as Scary Terry Rozier, is in the middle of this. There's a couple of big names in the cheating scandal. The first being Chauncey Billups, and his involvement is wild. But it at least for right now, Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, the former Detroit Pistons All-Star, he wasn't betting on the games, as far as we know so far. He was doing something else. Terry Rozier, he's in the weeds on the actual games and prop bets, and he's being accused of sitting early and telling somebody to bet the under on how long he's going to play on a prop bet. 100% believe it. I do. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups arrested in connection with 2 separate gambling-related indictments in Brooklyn, New York. Former NBA player Damon Jones was also arrested as part of the probes. Jones was tipping people off as to who was going to be playing and who would be sitting that night, and people would bet accordingly. The players that he's accused of tipping people off about would be LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I'm going to just go on the record here. I fully believe that this is far more widespread than anyone could ever imagine. I absolutely believe that some of the biggest players in the league were in on this. I don't know if LeBron James was completely in on it, but I guarantee you there were bigger players than Terry Rozier that were in on it. 100%. And then there could be a myriad of reasons. Maybe, you look at this at face value and you go, a guy is betting, he's making, $10 million a year, and you're going to bet $200,000, and you're welcome to join the conversation on this 615-737-9986. I think it's a fun conversation to have. You're making $10 million a year and you're betting $200,000 on a game. It feels like peanuts. So why would they do it? And then the theories start coming in. Maybe they just love the thrill of it, knowing that you're not supposed to do it. You're doing it anyway. That's really the high that you're getting. Could be. A couple of the other sports stations that I listen to back home in Boston, they say, listen, when you do this kind of stuff, maybe you find yourself in the hole, and then you have these mafia families threatening you, threatening your family. Then next thing you know, you're throwing games for the mafia to recoup on some debts. Maybe. I don't know yet. No, and we're just speculating. But the NBA said that Rozier and Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and they will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities. I don't necessarily believe that the NBA is going to cooperate with the relevant authorities. The NBA put the kibosh on the Tim Donaghy cheating scandal. He was the referee in the early 2000s. It was like he ref from 2002 to 2007, about 700 games. He was absolutely rigging games, point shaving, so that way they could win bets. You know, the over under, right, or the spread. I don't know. I'm not the big betting guy, but you know, they say this team's going to win by 2.5 points. Well, it's at 4 points, and then next thing you know, there's like a lot of late whistles. A ref can absolutely affect that. There's no way around it. Tim Donaghy, the referee that was embroiled in that scandal in the early 2000s, was getting ready to wear a wire and go into the locker room and narc on everybody. The NBA jumped ahead of that investigation so that they did their own investigation and that Donaghy acted alone. And it really put the kibosh on the entire operation in the early 2000s. So when they tell me that the NBA is down to cooperate, I say, are you sure about that? I think what the NBA is going to do is go into survival mode. Try and keep this as limited as possible to these two guys and Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, Damon Jones, and say, that was it. That was it. Nothing to see here. They got a lot riding on this. They have a lot riding on this. And I'm of the opinion that sports gambling has ruined sports. It has.
Yeah, I don't think David Stern would have ever let this happen. And if it did when he was commissioner of the league, he would have been the first to throw it all out there of something of this magnitude.
But that was David Stern was the guy when Tim Donaghy got caught. And he jumped in front of the FBI investigation when Donaghy was literally about to go back into the locker rooms wearing a wire because he said everybody was in on it. And David Stern jumped in front of that investigation when he caught wind of it, leaked it to the press, said Donaghy acted alone. David Stern was down to protect the league. And I think Adam Silver is also going to be down to protect the league. That's your job as the commissioner of the league. I don't believe that they're actually going to actively cooperate with the relevant authorities at all. That sounds like something nice that you would say in a press release, but it doesn't sound like something that will actually happen in practice.
I pulled up those stats, by the way, in Game 7. He went 0 for 10 from the three-point line.
Dude, he 100% threw that game.
2 for 14 on field goals.
And he was on a heater. Like the series before in Game 7, he had scored like 25 points. Like he was actually good that year.
Common denominator between Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier, both coached by Rick Pitino.
Pitino, you say?
Yeah. Known for his Italian crafted suits.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like an Italian name.
Looks like he'd be a mob boss.
Pitino. He was an awful Celtics coach, by the way.
Yeah.
Talk about Larry Bird's not walking through that door. It's like, no kidding. We're just waiting for a coach to show up. Sorry. Sorry. I'm still a little salty. I love the Celtics. I love basketball is a fun sport. I wish they would move the Grizzlies to Nashville so that way people would actually want to go to those games.
You know, that was actually the debate in the 90s.
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Well, it was a decision. One city was going to get a hockey team, and the other city was going to get a basketball team. And, you know, I think the demographics kind of played that one out for itself.
I mean, Ja Morant, he fits in with Memphis culture.
A little bit.
So, I mean, it works. I don't know why they wouldn't move him here, though. I mean, we have the infrastructure. Bridgestone Arena is awesome. Like, just move the Grizzlies to Nashville.
Hmm.
Do it. I don't know why they wouldn't. I don't know.
It'd be safer to go to and from the game in Nashville.
100%. Did you hear what Stephen A. Smith said? Stephen A. Smith is blaming Donald Trump for the NBA betting scandal, which is hilarious because the investigation started under the Biden administration. We say a lot of negative things about the Biden DOJ. At least this was a real investigation, and they're actually doing something that a lot of Americans care about. A lot of Americans think that these sport leagues are not on the up and up. Stephen A. Smith said, well, it was the orange man. I think this is a calculated move. I think that Stephen A. Smith understands that the Democrat Party is hemorrhaging black male voters. And while Stephen A. definitely wants to run for president, this is a move to look at those individuals and say, look at what Trump is doing and how evil he is. I think this is calculated as all get out. You want to give me a little audio here? This is Stephen A. Smith.
After another, have I said Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story.
We can't keep letting Trump get away with this, says Stephen A. Smith. Also, the Bad Bunny thing, what does one have to do with the other? And is he trying to paint a picture that ICE is going to be in the stands at the Super Bowl busting people? I feel like that's the picture he's trying to paint, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Sounds like a dope way to get tickets to the game.
ICE is here. We should get the ICE Block app back up and running, and we should just report ICE there at the Super Bowl.
I was saying sign me up and give me a GoPro.
Dude, why not? There's more from Stephen A. Smith and his outlandish outburst blaming Trump for this investigation, which is new levels of stupidity for Stephen A. Smith. But we'll bring it for you when we get back. It's 9:21. A lot to get to today. Phone lines are open, 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cabinet Makeovers. I tell you about Dan all the time. He's not just my cabinet guy. He's my friend. I love Dan. When he came to my house, we had brand new pull-out cabinets installed, and my wife was super excited about him. I was excited about him too, but I didn't know how much I was going to love him. And trust me, I love him. More about the cabinets in a second. When Dan came to install the cabinets, he was so cool, man. He turned it into a homeschool lesson for the kids, teaching them about the tools that he's using, letting them turn the screwdriver, even talking to the kids about Jesus. I love that that's what you get when you work with Cabinet Makeovers. See, this is a family-owned company. They're driven by biblical values. And the cabinets are pretty nice, too. Let me tell you, the pull-out cabinets we got, everything's Tennessee-made. Every cabinet, pull-out, drawer, all wood construction, full extension, soft-close glides. The craftsmanship is top-notch. If you need to make that investment in your home, you should do it with Cabinet Makeovers. They don't just stop at kitchens. They do everything. Custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house. These guys are pros. They've been doing it for decades. If you're going to make the investment in your home, do it with Cabinet Makeovers. 615-331-7010. That's 615-331-7010. And if you want to see the pics of the cabinets that you're going to get before you get them installed, go to cabinetmakeoverstn.com.
A former Alabama quarterback is running for lieutenant governor of the Roll Tide state, and Senate Democrats voted against a bill that would have paid military personnel and federal workers reporting to work during the government shutdown. Those stories and more coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Sam Rutherford in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're going to talk about Stephen A. Smith and these comments he's made, but I got sidetracked. I was scrolling on Instagram during the break. Find me at Chris Hand on air on all the social media platforms. And you guys know who Sean King is? You know Sean King?
Yeah.
He's a Black Lives Matters kind of activist guy who's white. He is. He's wicked white. He presents as a black individual. The internet affectionately refers to him as Talcum X. They do. I didn't make that up. That's just literally the internet's called him Talcum X for years.
Doesn't that cause cancer?
I think so. I'd be careful. But I find myself agreeing with Talcum X. And I don't know how to feel about it. Sean King tweeted yesterday, I actually think it's a great idea to build a big ballroom on the White House grounds. It's virtually impossible to hold events of any size there, and they're always wasting millions on tents and heaters and chairs and lights and everything else. Stop acting like you have some emotional attachment to the East Wing. You don't. I didn't have agreeing with Talcum X on my bingo card for today.
But he's right.
He's right. Stop acting like you care. You don't. The NBA doesn't care about the betting scandal. They're going to act like they do. But believe me, they don't. Stephen A. Smith also, I don't think, cares at the end of the day. I think that everybody that's involved in sports, we should get Whitlock on Monday to talk about the betting scandal. Whitlock would have a lot of good info on this. Jason Whitlock, local guy, sports guy, good guy. But they all know about this. Stephen A. Smith is manufacturing outrage and blaming Donald Trump.
How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there.
How many illegal aliens you know are going to have Super Bowl tickets?
None.
Looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA.
I tell you what, deport anybody that doesn't go for a bathroom break or snacks during the Bad Bunny halftime performance. American citizens included. Sorry. Is that controversial?
Nah.
If you're going to sit through a Bad Bunny performance, straight to Uganda.
When Beyonce put on a show, that has now been smeared because we're talking about this story, okay? Remember, Trump has a long, long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be.
It's Trump's fault that people want to gamble and party.
This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Because when you've got all of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know. We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today.
Investigation started in 2019, fun fact. Who was president during 2019? No, I'm like legitimately asking because I don't think it was Joe Biden. 9:30, Super Talk, 99.7, WTN.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's 9:31, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your top stories. National championship winning Alabama quarterback A.J. McCarron announced his candidacy for the lieutenant governor's position in the Yellowhammer State. McCarron took to YouTube to explain he was running as a Republican and that his inspiration came in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. McCarron felt like he had to, quote, get off the sidelines, he says, because Alabama's conservative and cultural values are under attack from every direction. AJ is looking to be the latest figure to go from sports to politics, as former Auburn football head coach turned Senator Tommy Tuberville has already announced his run for governor of the state. Senate Democrats blocked a Republican-sponsored bill Thursday to pay active duty members of the military and other essential federal employees who have been required to work during the government shutdown. Democrats blocked the Shutdown Fairness Act of 2025, sponsored by Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, in a mostly party line 54-45 vote. It needed 60 votes to advance. The legislation would pay service members as well as employees who are determined by agency heads to be accepted from the shutdown or who are performing emergency work. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said that it would have included more than 300 congressional employees, including U.S. Capitol Police, who worked overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning to keep the Senate floor open, while Senator Jeff Merkley, a Democrat from Oregon, spoke for 22 hours and 37 minutes in protest of President Donald Trump. Johnson's bill would have also guaranteed pay for federal workers who are on duty throughout the shutdown, including air traffic controllers, Transportation Security Administration agents, park rangers, federal law enforcement, and ICE. That being said, in Tennessee, the Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti applauded a ruling handed down Wednesday by the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Mississippi, striking down a final rule implemented by the Biden administration's U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, redefining the Affordable Care Act's prohibition against discrimination based on sex to include gender identity. In May 2024, Skrmetti and Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch held a coalition of 13 other states filing a lawsuit challenging the HHS rule, which would have required medical providers to perform surgeries and administer hormone drugs to both children and adults for the purpose of gender transition without regard for a doctor's medical judgment as to whether the treatment was appropriate. That's your latest news. We've got your traffic coming up next. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is spooky season, and they got some spooky good deals for you. How about this? You want a free Beehive Club membership? You don't even have to lift a finger. Make the kids do it. Make them carve a pumpkin with Buzz the Bee. That's the official mascot of Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Post it on social media, tag Busy Bee, and boom, you're in a free Beehive Club membership. That is an unbelievable deal. Now, if you want some real perks, some real treats, they're going to keep them coming. You need HVAC service? Schedule your fall HVAC maintenance, and you'll get free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. Any plumbing issues with any repair from Busy Bee, they'll flush your water heater for free. Your pipes are going to thank you. And if you're thinking about a new HVAC system, look no further than Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Scary good deal. Free 10-year parts, 5-year labor warranty. That's a $750 value with any system install. Don't let the home headaches haunt you. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today, where the service is solid and the savings are spooky good. They'll answer the phone. They won't ghost you. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. .938 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV's up and running. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones, but we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We appreciate when you do so. We're already doing Obama, Gavin Newsom numbers, just to let you know, which is hilarious. Because we're neither the active governor of California or the first black president ever, but we do Gavin Newsom Obama numbers on YouTube. We could do better than Gavin and Obama if you would hit like and subscribe. Help us beat Gavin Newsom and Barack Obama. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Don't do it for us. Don't do it because you like us. Do it because you don't like them.
Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids. It helps me feed my kids. Otherwise, it's just bread and water.
Make sure you've got money to not gamble with on Little League.
Yeah, I would never gamble on Little League if anyone's asking. I'll be at the third baseline.
That'd be fake news.
We got big Little League games tonight. I'm pumped. So the gambling stuff, you're not going to hear this on ESPN. A lot of the major networks are moving away from it because, listen, sports is a huge cash revenue in so many aspects for these networks. And we've seen it. I mean, listen, the live programming does the best. Live programming that you can't go rewatch. This is why you see Netflix paying billions of dollars for WWE. This is why you see all of these streaming platforms clamoring for live games. There's more money in sports now than ever before. The betting is completely legalized. Then you get ad revenue from the betting sites. Everybody wants this scandal to go away. Nobody's going to be covering it. And when they do cover it, they're going to do what Stephen A. Smith did. They're going to blame it on Donald Trump. It's a revenge tour. But you look at the specifics of the case, and President Trump, he wasn't president when they're calling out this stuff happening. This is being investigated under the Biden administration. One of the games that they highlight for Terry Rozier cheating is in March 23, 2023. He allegedly told friends to bet the under that he would play less time. I think they had set it at like 19 minutes, and he played 9 minutes. Bet the under. That's in 2023. Trump is not president. It's not Trump's DOJ compiling that investigation. They're executing on it. And Stephen A. Smith is blaming the Trump administration. Kash Patel says that is bovine scatology.
Yeah, down the street. By the way, this was so wild. Stephen A. Smith, the sports commentator, suggested that this was revenge from the president for all the kind of left-wing activism of the NBA. Your response to that, 15 seconds.
I'm the FBI director. I decide which arrests to conduct and which not to conduct. That may be the single dumbest thing I've ever heard out of anyone in modern history, and I live most of my time in Washington, D.C. It's right up there with Adam Schiff. We arrest people for crimes.
Okay, there's that. You sound like Adam Schiff, sir. Well, fun fact, that actually may bode well for him if he decides to run on the Democrat side of things. They vote for idiots quite often.
Especially pardoned idiots.
I love the betting scandal. I think that's a big story. That's one we're going to pay attention to, for sure, because the networks aren't going to. Another story that we're paying attention to is President Trump. He's been going after the cartels. This is a big announcement yesterday. He compiled all the cabinet members. He was flanked by everybody. Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, and they were touting the recent successes that they've had against the cartels. This is the president yesterday at the White House.
And we're here today to discuss a sweeping, unprecedented, and historically successful operation that my administration has carried out in recent weeks to arrest, prosecute, and permanently remove members of foreign drug cartels from American soil. And the people gathered around this table are the ones that are doing it, and in this room. Some of them sitting a little behind. Some of them, I'm surprised, are not actually at the table. You people should be very insulted by that. But you've done a great job back there. On my first day in office earlier this year, I signed an executive order to officially designate the drug cartels and savage transnational gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. It was my honor to do so. And on that same day, I also signed an order directing the creation of the Homeland Security Task Force to bring together all federal, state, and local partners to achieve the national policy goal of eliminating the cartel presence in America once and for all. And the results are, and it's early, and the results are spectacular. Led by ICE and the FBI, this task force includes the Department of Justice, the Department of War, DHS, the intelligence community, ATF, the DEA, the U.S. Marshals, and the state and local agencies in every part of our country. Other than that, we don't include too many people. That's a hell of a group, isn't it, huh, when you think of it?
Hell of a group, and they're doing a lot of good work. We're going to have White House reporter Monica Page joining us from the White House North Lawn, and I've heard that President Trump is going to be signing another order today designating anyone that would enjoy the Bad Bunny halftime show as a domestic terrorist. So we're looking forward to that announcement as well. But in all seriousness, this operation's fantastic. This is what we voted for. We knew that we had these groups operating within our country for a long time. It's only gotten worse under the Biden administration. The open borders made our streets far more dangerous, made the drugs far more prevalent. And you can go to any major blue city and see the results of that, the fruit that it's bearing on the streets. Open air drug use. People just pulling their pants down and crapping right there on the sidewalk. It's disgusting. And it's a direct result of the drugs that are flowing into this country. And President Trump says no more. And he announced a number of arrests in the thousands of these cartels, these drug traffickers, these domestic terrorists, these foreign terrorists. And he says we're not slowing down.
In a matter of weeks, the task force has made the largest number of arrests of cartel leaders, operatives, and gang members in American history, more than 3,000 and counting. That includes members of the ultra-violent New Generation Cartel, the Sinaloa Cartel, the LNFM Cartel, MS-13 Cartel, and you know MS-13, the gang, and Tren de Aragua, another beauty. That's a group of real garbage we have to deal with, that we shouldn't have to deal with. These are, in addition to the massive numbers of dangerous criminals my administration arrested nationwide since January 20th, numbering over 120,000. It's a record. And 120,000 criminal arrests. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We do appreciate it. We understand that we have the technology. We have the military equipment. We should absolutely be going on offense. Enough is enough. The scourge of drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, enough. It was exacerbated under Biden, and under this administration, they're putting their foot down. And they're going after a number of countries. People said it's just Venezuela. They just want oil. I don't agree with that statement at all. I think President Trump is doing what we voted for him to do. Take out these cartels, take out these drug traffickers. And on the Venezuela front, they have a regime that this government wants to change. I understand that. But it's not just Venezuela. They're going after Colombia. They took out a submarine. He also had some harsh words to say about Colombia and Mexico yesterday, saying that they're being run and dominated by cartels and that he's not going to put up with it. He actually said, listen, the Mexican president, she's a nice lady and I know her, but what's going on in these countries is ridiculous and we're not going to stand idly by any longer.
You know, somebody came up with the word cartel. I won't tell you who that person was, but you got a lot of bad people in the cartels. And you could look at a country like Mexico, and I really respect the president. I really respect a lot of the people over there, but a lot of the leadership. But they are in fear in their own country.
He's right.
Because those cartels are running those countries, okay? And that includes Colombia. Colombia is a drug den. It's a drug den, and it has been for a long time. You got a lousy leader over there right now, bad guy, a thug. But they make cocaine at levels that we've never seen before, and they sell it back into this, and they're not going to get away with it much longer. We're not going to put up with it much longer. Colombia is very bad. Mexico is run by the cartels. I have great respect for the president, a woman that I think is a tremendous woman. She's a very brave woman. But Mexico is run by the cartels, and we have to defend ourselves from that.
He's absolutely right. And we can't trust these leaders in these countries to do it. They've had ample opportunity. They do nothing. They do nothing. Then the reporters get involved. And as the reporters do, they say, sir, well, if we're going to war with the cartels, why haven't you gotten approval from Congress? And I just love this Trump answer, because this is the exact message that's going to make its way back to the cartels. And these cartels, they're going to respect one thing and one thing only, and that's strength. And when the reporter asked the question, why haven't you gotten approval from Congress to go to war with the cartels? The answer from President Trump projects one thing: strength.
Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
It's just the most based answer of all time. We could ask, we could ask approval, or we could kill them. I think we're going to focus on killing them. Like dead. Also, the reporter sounded like he was 15. He had a voice crack in there. I felt kind of bad for him.
Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay?
I love it. I love the answer. And there's going to be people that be like, oh, he's so harsh. It's not all cartel members. Not all cartels. But guys, you have to understand how evil these cartels are. Like, and there's not, it's tough. I have exposed myself to the underbelly of the internet. I have gone down the rabbit holes. And I understand not everyone has. But when you understand the evil that's being perpetrated by these cartels, the only answer that we have is to kill them. Tulsi Gabbard at this same meeting told a story that is horrifying. But it's a story that if you've done any amount of research, you've heard and know all too well.
I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you in the...
Did you hear that? La Diabla? CJNG cartel? Luring women in, performing illegal C-sections, selling babies, harvesting organs. If you see this kind of evil happening and you do nothing, you are just as bad as the people perpetrating the evil. And this administration is not going to sit on their hands any longer. This is something I can get behind. This is an offensive war that I can support. And it's one that I think that we should end very, very quickly. Targeted drone strikes yesterday. It's 9:52. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. We got a fun weekend. My wife, the kids, we're going to be hanging out. We got baseball games. And while I'm looking forward to all the fun, I'm not looking forward to all the dirt that's going to get tracked back into the house because it's inevitable. We get back from baseball. We got 2 baseball games tonight. Every time we get back from baseball, boys, take your cleats off before you get in the house. And they say, no problem, Dad. Then I find them in the living room with their cleats on. And I say, guys, what are we doing? And then now they're getting used to it. They said, Dad, just call Zero Res. I said, it's not about that. Then I say, you owe me $45. That's all it costs. Any room in your house can get cleaned by Zero Res for $45. I joke. The price isn't that bad, and we do use these guys all the time. And the reason we use them is that they're the Maha of carpet cleaning. They use their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue. It cleans the carpets perfectly, and then the kids can roll around. We don't have to worry about what's in the fibers. It's not just carpets. These guys do everything from air ducts to tile to rugs to upholstery. The works. And it's perfect if you're dealing with messy weekends with a lot of kids like I am. Again, $45, any room. You're not going to find a better price. You're not going to find a better company. Call Zero Res of Nashville today and book your carpet cleaning. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376 or find them online, ZeroResNashville.com.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your top stories. Law enforcement officials have made more than 1,000 arrests and found dozens of missing children in Memphis, Tennessee, as part of President Donald Trump's crime crackdown in the notoriously violent city. Fox News Digital learned Wednesday, from arresting more than 100 gang members to locating more than 70 missing children, our brave federal agents and local authorities are doing incredible work to protect the good people of Memphis, Attorney General Pam Bondi said Wednesday in comment to Fox News Digital. Tolerating crime is a choice. Under President Trump, we refuse to accept the victimization of innocent American citizens and will continue making our cities safe again. A White House official told Fox Digital that there have been 1,309 total arrests since September, when the operation officially launched, including 9 arrests for homicide, 52 arrests for sex offenses, 527 warrants served, and 132 for firearm offenses. Memphis has been one of America's most dangerous cities, frequently ranking in the top spot for violent crime and recording 40.6 homicides per 100,000 people in 2024. A sudden ground stop halting Alaska airline flights nationwide is being blamed on an IT outage. Some of the flights scrapped just moments from takeoff. Here's ABC's Trevor Alt with details. Alaska Airlines also saying safety was never compromised.
Some passengers were already on their plane waiting for takeoff before finding out the flight had been canceled.
As soon as we sat down, we got an announcement saying, from the pilot saying, folks, there's a bit of a hiccup.
Frustrated travelers stranded for hours.
This was really a roller coaster of a day. We didn't know what was happening 1 minute from the next.
In a statement, Alaska Airlines says, we deeply apologize to our guests whose travel plans have been disrupted today.
In news in the home state, more than 121,000 Middle Tennessee families could lose their SNAP benefits starting next week due to the government shutdown, according to Second Harvest Food Bank. Lawmakers at the state capitol are trying to figure out how to respond to the crisis. The state says that as recently as September, more than 690,000 people across Tennessee were issued money through the SNAP program, equaling more than $145 million in benefits. While a few states are looking for ways to fund replacement benefits, Governor Bill Lee's office confirms Tennessee will not. Spokesperson for the governor, Elizabeth Johnson, said in a statement, Congress has a responsibility to fund the federal government, and as Governor Lee has said, it's disappointing that Democrats have chosen not to reopen it. While the Lee administration continues working with federal agencies to mitigate the impact of a shutdown on hardworking Tennesseans, SNAP is federally funded. And without those federal dollars, the state cannot provide those benefits. The governor shares the frustration of Tennesseans who will be impacted by this temporary lapse and sincerely hopes Democrats will choose to put the American people ahead of politics. And an Alabama murder convict has become the latest to die by a controversial new method of execution, ABC's Jim Ryan reports.
Anthony Boyd spent more than half his life on Alabama's death row, insisting he did not participate in the grisly murder of a man in 1993 and appealing directly to Kay Ivey.
Governor Ivey, this is Anthony Boyd, the guy that you have scheduled an execution for October the 23rd.
Despite his appeals, the 54-year-old was put to death last night, not by lethal injection, but with nitrogen gas. That method has now been used in 8 executions, 7 of them in Alabama. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch us. We're on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. And if you're watching us on the stream, you'll see my next guest joining us live from the White House North Lawn. Monica Page joins us live now. What's up, Monica? How are you? Monica? Oh. Is Monica there? Is it on us or is it on Monica Page? What's up? Boys. Full disclosure, I told Monica that we'd be good to go. Monica, you got me? Oh boy. We've been having bad luck getting linked up with Monica here the past couple weeks. Monica, I apologize if you can hear us, but Monica Page is standing by at the White House on the North Lawn, and she should be joining us here momentarily. Monica, as soon as you hear me, just jump in and start talking. But we do have a lot to cover. There's been a lot happening at the White House over the week, and Monica usually joins us at this time every Friday to comment on the happenings at the White House. We'll try and get her up, and as soon as we do, we'll bring that interview to you here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got Sam and Louie just scrambling in the back trying to make it happen. Apologies to Monica if it does not go through. But we're working on it. We're working on it back there, right, guys? Everybody, yeah, we're working on it. And as soon as we get Monica up, we'll have that here. Monica, you got me? No Monica yet. That's okay. We got more that we can talk about. I did want to play some of this Donald Trump audio from yesterday when we were talking about the government shutdown. But I would like to begin actually with Hakeem Jeffries, who was talking about the government shutdown. He got roasted this morning on CNBC while discussing the government shutdown. Hakeem got called out on live television for his hypocrisy. This was Hakeem Jeffries earlier this morning. Again, this is on CNBC, and Hakeem has no answers for these guys.
It said what you are asking the Republicans to do right now when they control the White House, the Senate, and the House is effectively what the Democrats could not do when they controlled all three of those heads of government themselves. The 10-year setup for this, for these, or the 3-year setup for the expiration of these credits was intentionally put in. It was put in when you controlled the White House, and the Senate. You couldn't get it passed for longer. And so this is a setup that kind of your own creation that you all couldn't extend beyond that. Now you want the Republicans to do something you didn't do when you were in power?
It's not a setup beyond what we could do. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits in 2022 for 3 years. The program is working. It's providing health care to tens of millions of people in an affordable way, and it should be continued. It's interesting to us that Republicans decided that they would prefer to permanently extend massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors
we're gonna put you on in just a second.
their one
Thank
big
you.
ugly bill.
She said, sir, this is a setup by you, the Democrats. A 3-year setup for the expiration of the Obamacare credits was put in when you controlled the White House, the House, and the Senate. Uncomfortable realities for Hakeem Jeffries. Completely uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to say because he knows that's the truth. He understands exactly what time it is. The Democrats have dug their heels in, but this is a losing proposition for them, and I think it's only going to get worse as time goes along. You're going to see SNAP benefits running out here in days. No SNAP November is what we're looking at. And the Democrats are on record saying that they got to use this as a leverage point, and they know it's going to hurt. We had a Democrat rep from Massachusetts, the number 2 House Democrat, saying that just yesterday. It's an unbelievable turn of events. The Democrats know that they're losing. Their heels are dug in anyway. I wish them the best of luck. I really do.
Hey, is your camera off?
We have a lot to discuss, and we are waiting for Monica Page to join us live from the White House North Lawn. Monica, chime in if you can hear me at any time.
I gotcha.
Oh, let's
Chris,
go.
Yes, I'm here. How you doing, Chris?
I am good, and I apologize for the delays. We're just working through some technical difficulties on our side.
That's totally good. It's great to spend my Friday with you guys, as always.
We love having you on. Monica Page is our White House reporter from Turning Point USA and Frontlines. You are actually going to be one of the new members that is getting into the Pentagon, I've heard. Frontlines is going to be up front and center. Tell me a little bit about the press changes at the Pentagon and why it's not as big of a deal as the mainstream media is making it out to be.
It's really not that big of a deal, Chris. And it's funny because the mainstream media has been throwing fits all week about this. I mean, they chose to self-deport. They chose to not be there. They chose to not sign off on the new rules and regulations that the Pentagon is putting into place. But the thing is that the rules really aren't that strict. You just can't waltz into Pete Hegseth's office or General Raising Cane's office and just start talking to everybody. That's just not how things work. I can't walk into the Oval Office here and just demand to speak to President Trump. That's not how it works. I get kicked out. So the rules really aren't that crazy. I'm very excited to be there. I know some of the people that work in the Pentagon. I'm very excited to work with them and just bring you up-to-date information from the Pentagon, from the Department of War, which is really cool. And it's awesome to see that Turning Point USA and Frontlines specifically is expanding to new heights. Like we are planting our roots not only here at the White House, but now in the Department of War, which is incredible. And I can't wait to see how much more we start growing. So everyone should be excited about this, not just for us at Turning Point USA and Frontlines, but also other independent media who can actually bring you not watered down facts or something that's sugar coated, bring you the cold hard facts and the truth. That's what the American people deserve. So this is a very exciting moment, and it's a new generation, out with the old, in with the new. And I'm very excited to be there.
Yeah, no, and I'm excited for your team too. Turning Point USA's Frontlines team does some amazing work. You guys have unbelievable investigative journalists like Savannah Hernandez and Kaylin Dalmeda on staff. Jonathan Cho is unbelievable. You got Bo and Gabe, who we love. And then you're at the White House every single day. Your team has been unreal the past couple of months. You guys have absolutely leveled up. So props to you guys. Now, there's a lot of manufactured outrage, though. People are upset that they have to wear a credential that labels them as the press at the Department of War. And they're also upset that the East Wing project over at the White House. And why should we be upset?
Well, with all the outrage, you think the White House is entirely on the ground. As you can see here, it's still standing. The only thing that's not standing is the East Wing. And what we're seeing with the mainstream media is this Trump ballroom derangement syndrome. They think that this is a complete obstruction of justice. This is, against the law. And I really didn't realize, Chris, how many people had such an emotional attachment to the East Wing. It's baffling to see the amount of people that have been coming out of here saying, I can't believe that they are doing this. Meanwhile, construction at the White House has been taking place since the early 1900s. That's no secret. And I'm glad that Caroline Leavitt this past week brought the receipts to the press briefing room to show the press, listen, construction has always been happening here. This is nothing new. And what's interesting is now you see the left, specifically people like Midas Touch, who are comparing the new renderings of this ballroom to that of Russia and Vladimir Putin's beautiful ballroom as well, saying, oh, well, look what President Trump's doing, compare it to what Russia does. And, President Trump is a dictator. And you have to keep in mind that President Trump does everything intentionally. When you see the overwhelming gold accents in the Oval Office or in the colonnade outside in the Rose Garden, he does it on purpose. When he goes to other countries and he sees the opulence that other world leaders are living in and seeing just how beautiful and striking things are, he's like, well, you know what? That's a symbol of power.
Right.
I'm going to do the same. People need to take us seriously. Compare this Oval Office, compare this White House to that of the previous administration. They had that blue, ugly carpet. They had barren walls in the Oval Office. You really wouldn't know anyone was really working in there.
For the record, they weren't during the last administration.
Correct. So it's nice to see that the president's bringing beauty back to the White House. And unfortunately, the left hates anything that is beautiful. I mean, just take a look at how they run their cities.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And it's mind-blowing to me that we're not spending $1 of taxpayer money on this. I guess we weren't. We will, because Hakeem Jeffries says that he's going to spend taxpayer dollars investigating it. So that's out the window. But the outrage just feels so manufactured on so many levels. And then when you zoom out a little bit more, and you'll know from personal experience, they would bring out tents and spend millions of dollars renting furniture and tables and chairs and these massive tent structures anytime they want to do an event outside. But now we're supposed to be angry because the TV tells us?
Right. And if I remember correctly, President Obama spent millions of dollars in taxpayer funds to renovate the White House, and we're not spending a penny of our own taxpayer dollars on this. This is purely donations in the president's wallet. And you're right, to your point. They would overuse those tents, rain or shine or snow, no matter what the weather. And that just, I don't know. If I'm coming to the White House, I want to be in the White House for an event. I want to feel like I'm special here at the White House. This is, an event for everybody, and not just, it's somebody's high school prom or, college graduation where, you're just renting these massive tents and having dinner inside a tent on the grass. That's not really presidential to me. Having a beautiful ballroom is for everybody. And everyone's saying, this is the president's house. This isn't the people's house anymore. Well, it technically is the people's house because the people will be in the ballroom and being able to enjoy it.
Right.
It's for everybody. So I'm very excited to see the official construction of it, for everything to be done. But they have been breaking ground. They've been making some serious headway here in the East Wing.
Well, and I love that they're still working even through this dastardly government shutdown. Tell me the latest on the government shutdown. How does the administration feel about it? Are they willing to negotiate? Are they saying, no, that's not what we're doing here. We're waiting for the Democrats to bend the knee. What are you hearing on the ground?
Democrats have to bend the knee. This is a Democrat shutdown. The White House has been standing firm that we're not going to be providing Medicare to illegal aliens, Medicaid, Medicare. Illegal aliens do not deserve, especially criminal illegal aliens. And Caroline Leavitt was also showing just this past week in the press briefing room, those criminals that have been receiving Medicaid under Democrat leadership under the last administration. That's not fair. So this White House has been really stiff-arming the Democrats and really standing strong, extremely headstrong in this. And that's where I give this White House a lot of credit, because they're not making any sort of room to negotiate here. You have to come to the table. I think we're in our third week right now. We're heading into week 4 of this government shutdown. A lot of people are concerned, and as they should be. I mean, thank goodness that we're still paying our military. That's big news coming out just from last week. They actually just got their first paychecks. But a lot of people that rely on, these government programs, they're going to be in some serious trouble. And these people are so brainwashed that they are going to believe that this is the Trump administration's fault. They need to be looking at their own party if they're Democrats. This is the reality, unfortunately. So I'm hoping that something can come to the table. It just, everything here at the White House regarding government shutdown seems very much up in the air right now.
Really? Okay. What else are you hearing at the White House? Last night, we had some big news on trade negotiations with Canada and how we're just not going to trade with Canada, period. What have you heard this morning on the latest between the United States and the 51st state?
I love the 51st state. I think that never gets old. But here at the White House, it's been pretty quiet this morning. We're actually the new media pooler, so I'm about to head into the press room, back into the lower press area of the White House, and see, what the latest is. If we can expect any sort of events, if we can hear from the president today. But essentially, the president is not very happy with Canada because Canada's been lying to their own people about these tariffs, and lying and saying that President Ronald Reagan was against the tariffs, and President Trump took to Truth Social saying that's not true. We want to be dependent on our own. We want to be independent. We don't want to have to rely on these other countries. We could have a great thing going with you guys, but unfortunately, you guys really haven't been upholding your part of the deal. And this really comes very close to that last meeting that we saw. We saw Mark Carney here at the White House, and everything seemed great. So I'm kind of wondering where things went wrong in the weeds here. Certain phone calls that maybe just weren't had, or miscommunication. I don't know what's happening. But Canada's got to uphold their side of the stick here, especially when it comes to trade. This is a big deal. The president's very serious about tariffs and trade.
100%. We're talking with Monica Page. She is our friendly White House reporter from Turning Point USA and Frontlines. You mentioned a moment ago that you are going to be in the new media seat today at the White House press briefing. What's the process getting into the press briefing room for those White House press briefings with Caroline Leavitt? And what are you planning on asking her today?
So what's funny is that you can get a temporary day pass, but you have to fill out forms every single night before 5 p.m. Eastern time to get a temporary press pass. And then when you come here to the White House, you show your press credential, you show your real ID or your passport, whatever it is, and they can issue you for the whole day. And then you have to start the application process through the press room to get a hard pass. That's what I have to just make sure you don't need to fill anything out over and over again. You can come here as much as you want or as long as you want until your pass expires and you got to renew it. But essentially, anytime there's a press briefing, we just had one yesterday. It was a packed house as always. But when I'm in the new media pool, which is what I am today, I will have special access to anything that the president does that's open to the new media pool. So today there may be some executive orders. It's not officially on his schedule. We thought that he was going to do something in the Oval Office today, but it doesn't look like that's happening anymore. But there have been many times where I've been in the new media pool and the president has said, "Bring the press in. We want to do this," and it's not even on the schedule. So that could drop at any moment's notice, and we got to run over to wherever the meetup location is, and they'll escort us in. But it's a really cool opportunity to just be there and show face and ask questions on behalf of everybody. And I'm excited to see the other opportunities that they pose. But tonight the president's leaving late. He's late. He's leaving at like 10:40 p.m. Eastern time for his big Asia trip, and he'll be gone till next Thursday.
What are you hearing about the Asia trip? What should we expect coming out of that?
I think we'll expect sideline talks with China's President Xi Jinping, specifically on trade. I know trade has been a huge part of his relationship with the Asian region. So I think we can definitely expect that. Plus, China's relationship with Russia. I know Russian sanctions just hit this past week as well. They're looking at, strengthening those sanctions against Russia as this war continues. Putin is not coming to the table in its fight against Ukraine, unfortunately. So the president is using these tariffs and just these sanctions kind of on Russia as this leverage, as this punishment sort of thing to say, hey, you got to stop this. So we can definitely hear more of those national security talks as well in Asia. But as soon as the president comes back, he's getting into Halloween mode, Chris. He's doing trick-or-treating on the South Lawn, which is very funny and very exciting. So he doesn't stop. I mean, as soon as he lands, he's going to be on the South Lawn giving out candy to little kids, which I think is pretty cute.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. It sounds like you have a busy day, so we'll be following your Twitter account at Monica Page TV for all the updates. PAIGE. What is a story that the American people aren't paying enough attention to, Monica? Before we wrap up.
Well, there's a couple stories. One big one is that gas prices are at a national average low, 4-year low at $2.98, which is huge. And the Veterans Affairs Department just opened about 20 new healthcare facilities for our veterans across the entire country, which is going to ease health and accessibility to those who need it. So I think those are two huge stories that nobody's really paying attention to right now.
Well, I love it, and I love your reporting. We pay attention to it, as always. You're on X, at Monica Page TV, PAIGE, Monica Page TV. Congratulations on getting that new media seat today. We're gonna be following your Twitter account closely, see what you can come up with.
Thanks, Chris. Have a great weekend. It's always great to join you.
You too. Appreciate you. That's Monica Page, everybody, joining us live from the White House North Lawn. My name is Chris Hand, and I do got to tell you about my friends over at the Glock store. I mean, let's be honest. Can you believe that it's already October 24th? The holidays are sneaking up fast, and if you're thinking about throwing a party, any kind of party, a get-together, a holiday party, a Christmas party, why not do one that people will actually remember and talk about and host your party at the Glock store? They have an incredible event space that can host parties as small as 10 to up to 100 people, plus your own private shooting room with a professional firearms instructor on hand, and you will have the opportunity to take your Christmas party full auto. Tell me that's not the most American Christmas party you've ever heard of. Full auto, Santa in camo. It's the best. You got to do it at the Glock store. Here's what you got to do, though. These spots fill up fast. There's a limited number of events that they can throw because there's a limited number of dates on the calendar. So you're going to want to lock yours in today. 615-682-6565. That's the phone number. You ask for the retail manager, and they'll get you set up. 615-682-6565. Or you can always swing by the showroom yourself, and they'll help with all the details, even catering if you need it. Trust me, the dates fill up fast every year, so get your spot locked in today. That's at the Glock store, 615-682-6565. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Well, one former mayor is in the attorney general's headlights, and a new pipeline will be going in across multiple counties in Tennessee. We'll tell you more about it at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Sam Rutherford in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. King Louie is producing today. We got a fire squad in here, and we appreciate you joining us wherever you're joining us. iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, I'm waving. Hello. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Those are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe. All the digital platforms that you could be listening on have a share button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. Share the show with your friends. Help us spread that truth. We appreciate you guys doing so. There's a lot to get to today. You heard Monica Page talking about the receipts that Caroline Leavitt brought to the White House yesterday, and she brought a lot of receipts, especially when it came to the government shutdown. She wasn't playing any games, and she said what this highlights to us is that the Democrats don't care about suffering and the suffering of the American people. And she's talking about this clip that was going viral. It's from the number 2 Democrat in the House, the rep from Massachusetts. I believe it's Catherine Clark. This is what she said in a recent interview.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
It's one of the few leveraged times we have. We take your suffering seriously, and we're going to use it to our advantage. It's vile, and it's disgusting, but this is how the Democrats are thinking about it. They see this as an opportunity. They see the pain of the American people as an opportunity. I don't want anybody, I think there's a lot of people that are abusing the SNAP benefits, and I've seen some viral videos where it's like a guy who's a dad, and he's like, I'm not working. The taxpayers are going to pay for me. And I'm like, this is BS. Like, you shouldn't be on SNAP benefits. You should be out there working. There's other people that absolutely deserve the benefits, need the benefits, and I don't want to see any kid in this country go hungry. But you look at the Democrats and you see that they're using this to their advantage, and they don't care about who they hurt. Caroline Leavitt called that out yesterday.
Throughout this shutdown, Democrats have said this quiet part out loud. Senator Chuck Schumer, the leader of the caucus that is refusing to open the government, said, quote, "Every day gets better as the shutdown continues." Ask the air traffic controllers if every day is getting better, Senator Schumer, and they will tell you absolutely not. House Democrat Catherine Clark said, "There are going to be families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility seriously, but this is one of the few leverage points that we have." Here is a House Democrat who is admitting that they are using Americans who are suffering as political leverage.
Are you surprised by that? Of course you're not. You pay attention. It's 10:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Happy Friday, everybody. It's 10:30, and I'm Sam Rutherford with your top stories. Attorney General Pam Bondi put former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot on notice Thursday night over her vow to unmask ICE agents. During an interview on Jesse Waters' Primetime, Bondi reacted to a clip of Lightfoot talking about how she wants to create a real-time portal to track, quote, purported criminal actions of ICE and CBP agents and also unmask them. "This is the first time I've seen the Lori Lightfoot video. It was just now on your show," she told host Jesse Waters. "She will be getting a letter from us tomorrow to preserve anything she has done, as well to make sure that she's not violating the law. It appears she is. You cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, or anything that could harm them." Lightfoot made the comments on Fox 32 Chicago's Chicago Report. She said she and other attorneys are creating a nonprofit called the ICE Accountability Project. Bondi stated that Lightfoot is not the only person being looked into. Another deadly U.S. strike on suspected drug traffickers. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, that's Secretary of War to you folks, announcing the attack in international waters killed 6 narco-terrorists on a vessel he said was operated by Tren de Agua, a Venezuelan criminal group the Trump administration has designated as a terrorist organization. ABC News senior national policy reporter Ann Flaherty says there's plenty of speculation that a push for regime change in Venezuela is behind the U.S. attacks. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro faces charges of narco-terrorism in the U.S., and 43 people have been killed so far in the U.S. military strikes on vessels in the Caribbean and Pacific.
everybody is wondering if there's going to be an incursion in Venezuela or, on land, as President Trump has threatened repeatedly. What we are seeing with this latest strike, that it still is in international waters. So for now, there is no escalation. It's more of the same of what we've seen since September 2nd.
And in local news, construction on the 122-mile pipeline through the Upper Cumberland for the Ridgeline Expansion Project will begin soon. East Tennessee Natural Gas, owned by Enbridge, announced that it received a notice to proceed on October 7th from the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC for you abbreviation specialists out there, according to a media release. Construction is set to begin November 1st. According to Enbridge, the pre-construction activity began on October 20th. According to the release, the pipeline will supply natural gas to the new Tennessee Valley Authority Kingston Energy Complex. The project spans multiple counties, including Trousdale, Smith, Jackson, Overton, Putnam, Fentress, Morgan, and Roane. That's the latest news. I'm Sam Rutherford, WTN News.
1037 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We were talking about the government shutdown a little while ago with our friend Monica Page, who's our White House reporter from Turning Point USA and Frontlines. She's an awesome reporter, Monica Page TV. Worth a follow, trust me. But we were talking about the government shutdown, and she said yesterday Caroline Leavitt brought all the receipts. She did, and one of the things that she did made me think that the Republicans are 100% in this for the long haul. Caroline Leavitt started already foreshadowing to what the holidays may look like, what your travel schedule may look like for the end of November for Thanksgiving. And I think that that's an important thing to point out. The no SNAP benefits, it's going to affect a lot of Americans, make no mistake about it. But not every American. Other Americans are going to feel the government shutdown for the first time when it comes to the holidays and the travel schedule. And yesterday, Caroline Leavitt made the case that the Democrats are going to make that a sloppy travel season for the American people. And while she's making this point, I'm just thinking to myself, they really are dug in for the long haul here.
The Democrat shutdown is also causing severe impacts at airports across the country. In one single day this week, the FAA had to issue ground stops impacting flights at Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport and Hobby Airport. 13,000 air traffic controllers who ensure that we all fly safely are continuing to work without pay. This is egregious and truly sad. Some of them are reportedly being forced to turn to driving for Uber and taking on other second jobs to make ends meet as the Democrats continue to shut down the government. Pilots are calling on Democrats to end this dangerous political game. The president of the Southwest Airlines Pilot Association called for the clean continuing resolution to be passed, saying, quote, "Our air traffic controllers and the broader air traffic system are already operating under immense pressure. A government shutdown only compounds that stress and threatens the efficiency of our skies." The Airline Pilots Association International, which represents more than 80,000 pilots, is sounding the alarm as well. They said this shutdown is undermining our system's safety. Resources are stretched thin, negotiations are delayed, and strain grows daily. With the Thanksgiving holiday approaching, we are nearing the busiest travel period of the entire year, when millions of Americans will go to airports to spend time with their loved ones. Let us be very clear from the White House today. If the Democrats continue to keep the government closed, we fear there will be significant flight delays, disruptions, and cancellations in major airports across the country this holiday season.
They're looking forward, and it seems like their heels are dug in. The Democrats seem like their heels are dug in, too. Who blinks? Who blinks? I think it's going to be the Democrats. I think it's going to have to be the Democrats. CNN this morning reporting that they have a 300% surge in airport staffing shortages because of the government shutdown?
Mornings usually are easier, but you can really just feel the building pressure on the entire air travel community as this shutdown goes on. And I'll say first, there are some non-shutdown related things that have also been just regular problems cropping up that you would expect in the airline industry. Last night, Alaska Airlines, for example, they had a major IT outage which resulted in hundreds of flights being canceled all across the country, a lot of frustrated flyers. But that is on top of this just increasing strain that this ongoing shutdown has put on the entire airline industry.
And who is it that is voting to keep the government closed, and who is it that is voting to reopen the government? Well, if you're keeping score at home, we're now at 12 times the Republicans have voted to keep to reopen the government, and 12 times the Democrats have voted to keep it closed. I know. This shutdown falls at the feet of the Democrats. These airline issues fall at the feet of the Democrats. And as staffing shortages continue, if there's and God forbid, but if there is a crash at a major airport, who's going to take the blame for that? I think it would have to be the Democrats.
So according to the FAA, as you noted, Kate, multiple staffing shortages were reported across the country in air traffic control facilities, more than a dozen. Kate, that's including cities like Nashville, O'Hare, DCA, Houston, New York, Indianapolis. The list goes on, Albuquerque as well. And specifically what I can tell you is that while that directly hasn't led to all of the delays that we're seeing across the country. Some are due to staffing shortages. There's, of course, weather and other things as well. There definitely is an impact being felt. And what we can say is that, according to the FAA, there have been 210 staffing shortages that have occurred since the shutdown began. Now, that number might not mean much to the average person because there are staffing shortages all across the country in a normal non-shutdown scenario, but that number is 4 times larger than the normal amount that we're used to seeing.
4 times larger. You heard Caroline Levitt say that these air traffic controllers, they're going out and taking second jobs. You tell me, if you had to put food on the table, are you going to show up to the job that's not paying you, or are you going to use that sick day and wait for the back pay and go drive Uber? I mean, it's a tough choice to make. My heart breaks for those families that are in that position, but you're only in that position because of the Democrat Party. They could absolutely open the government today, and they could negotiate. Everybody understands that. President Trump was talking about that yesterday during his crime crackdown press conference that he had with all of his cabinet members. He said the Democrats have gone crazy. They should approve the extension, and they should get the country back to work. And it's got to be even more infuriating for Donald Trump. He sees the economy rocking. Inflation numbers came in today lower than expected. So much for the tariffs are going to cause inflation. I think that ship has officially sailed. But you see the record investment that he's getting, $20 trillion in 10 months. You see the reshoring of manufacturing. You see all these things working in the government's favor. The fact that the deficit spending in last month was lower than expected. We're tightening the purse strings. We're bringing in more money via the tariffs and revenue. And the Democrats are screwing it up with the shutdown. President Trump wasn't happy about this yesterday.
I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy. And you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. They don't. I really think they have no leadership. They have a lot of very low IQ people. Jasmine Crockett is a low IQ person. A lot of them are. I don't want to insult too many of them, but a lot of them are. They have no rudder. I don't think they know what they're doing right now. You know, they've never done this before. They always agreed to go and, call it an extension. Let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today. They don't want to pay the people that have worked. And, this was supposed to be this was a test. And they wouldn't pay the people that have been working. They said, no, we don't want to pay them.
Well, they didn't, and they voted against that because they understand that this is a leverage point. If they bend the knee there, it's not as painful. They can't bludgeon the Republicans with it. It's all calculated. They don't give a damn about the American people. It's all out there in the open and on display.
This is all the Democrats. Now, all we need is 5 Democrats. And I know a lot of Democrats that are saying they're more than 5. Probably not that many more than 5, but they're more than 5. And all we need is like 5 Democrat votes so we open our country again. Sad, though, we have the greatest economy in our history. We have the highest stock market. All these things are rocking. We will have by the end of my first year more than $20 trillion of investment. The all-time record is $3 trillion. I think it's China. We're going to have $20 or $21 trillion. We've never had anything like it coming in because of tariffs. The money pouring into our country, the plants that are opening, AI, automobiles, everything. And the Democrats want to close our country.
Yep.
They're really, they say deranged. They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is going down now as an official condition by the doctors. I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because it's more difficult to handle than a normal mental disease.
He's not wrong. You can give them actual information. You can show them data and facts, and they'll still yell "Orange Man bad." For months and months, they yelled the tariffs. The tariffs are going to cause inflation. They're going to be passed on to the consumers. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't. In fact, I mentioned it a moment ago, but earlier today, inflation numbers came in. Fun fact: lower than expected.
Liberation Day. Stock market said this is not going to be the end of the world. Like so many like almost unanimously, business reporters that tariffs were the end of the world. And here we are, up, what are we up, 36% since then? All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rick Santelli. Santelli, join us now. Oh, you're staying with us, Rick. Good. Michael
I'm not going anywhere, Joe.
All right. Good.
Inflation numbers coming in lower than expected. This is another great development for the Trump administration. But this is what Trump does. He defies expectations. Bobby in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Bobby? Yo, Bobby.
After I get through, want to run this by you real quick. When I was coming up, brother, I'm 65 years old. I never really heard of a government shutdown that much. All of our money, it's kind of crazy. Every 6 months, government shutdown, but all of our money seems to be going to these other countries, and that's I don't understand that. And also something nobody's talking about: where is the money that was given to the teachers union during the COVID, aka China virus? I'd like to know where that money is, and I think it needs to be investigated. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely would want an investigation. I think we should investigate every dollar that was handed out during COVID. I would say good luck. I mean, let's be honest. Good luck. But you know that money was misused, mishandled, abused. Everybody does. I mean, there's story after story out there on the COVID money. It's not just the teachers unions. It's everything. I mean, I think it was Minnesota. They had a huge story where there was a Somali refugee program totally siphoning money from the COVID funds. The Democrats misusing funds, not exactly a shocker. The Democrats using this shutdown to their advantage, not exactly a shocker. At least attempting to. I don't buy it that the American people are looking at this and saying that it's the Republicans. I don't. And there's polling out there that says I'm wrong, but I'm not about to buy that. There was polling out there that said Kamala Harris was going to win the 2024 election. Remember that? The Des Moines Register poll? I remember that. Are we gonna start believing the polls? I think a lot of the polls that are coming out saying that Republicans are being blamed are being used to shape the public narrative as opposed to inform the public it's not informing us what the public is thinking. It's being used to shape the public narrative. That's just my own opinion. We'll take some of your calls on the other side, 615-737-9986. We got a lot more to talk about. The president is going back on offense against the Democrats. AG Bondi announcing investigations into J.B. Pritzker, Lori Lightfoot, among others. We'll bring you that information when we return. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. You know them as USS, and I got some questions for you. Are your floors sagging? Do you got cracks showing up in the drywall? Do you have doors that won't just shut right? These aren't annoying little problems with your home. These are red flags and warning signs. It could mean that there is something much bigger, much more awful happening directly below your feet. Any of those warning signs could mean foundation issues. Listen, the solid foundation, that's going to be the backbone of a strong home. And as it weakens over time, it's not going to miraculously fix itself. What you need to do is you need to call the experts, the guys who have been keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure since 1994. Call United Structural Systems. They use American-made adjustable steel supports built to last and backed with a transferable warranty. From I-beams to custom crawl space repairs, these guys will fix it right the first time. And you heard me say transferable warranty. Even if you leave the home, the warranty can stay. That's how confident they are in their work at United Structural Systems. So when it comes to your home and the repairs that you need done, don't kick the can down the road. It's only going to get worse. Call USS today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
Another deadly U.S. strike on suspected drug traffickers. We'll tell you about that story and more coming up at 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We got King Louie producing today. What up, Louie? You doing good, man? Louie's rocking.
I'm blessed.
Got his St. Louis hat on, boy.
Let's go.
Woo, better look out.
Louie's he's filling in for Philly Joan. He's our resident tough guy while Joan's out. So we got Louie in the back. So there's a lot of noise today. Trump ending trade talks with Canada, the 51st state. I would just tell you, buy the dip on your poutine stock today. Come Monday, it's going to skyrocket.
Does this mean we're not going to get any more poutine?
We're going to get the poutine, Ken. Don't worry.
All right.
If not, we will go by force and take it. That's the only good thing that comes out of Canada.
It's poutine.
It's it. Oh, it's so good. So good. We actually lost the party foul in Murfreesboro.
Yeah, I know.
It's in a haunted location.
It is, man. That place is.
It's like the restaurant in Seinfeld. You know that location where it's like every couple weeks they have a new restaurant.
Babu.
That was the location that they chose for party foul in Murfreesboro. But they had hot chicken poutine.
Ooh, I ate a whole plate of it.
So good. So good. So all right, today when you're looking at your stock portfolio, buy the dip on poutine. President Trump shut down trade talks with Canada after he accused Ottawa of airing a fraudulent television advertisement, misquoting President Reagan. And in this ad, Reagan is saying that tariffs are a bad thing. Tariffs hurt everybody, and it's funny because it's bovine scatology, especially when you look at the inflation numbers that have come out today. Sorry, this is the Reagan ad that aired. This aired during the World Series. Was that last night? The Blue Jays? Somebody said it aired during a Blue Jays game. I don't know if the World Series has started yet because I haven't been paying attention.
It hasn't started yet.
It hasn't started yet? Somebody said it played during a Blue Jays game. This is the ad they were talking about.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
So the Trump administration hears the ad. They say, screw you, Canada, because you guys paid for the ad. They also say it's bovine scatology. You took out all the context of the speech from President Reagan. It was one of his Saturday morning radio addresses. They say, go find the real thing on YouTube. Also, when you hear this, everybody screamed this for months and months and months, yet today we get more news. Inflation cools more than expected. No sign of tariff pressure. Okay. Trump wasn't happy. He wasn't happy at all. He said, the Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada fraudulently used an advertisement, which is fake, featuring Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. The ad was for $75 million. The only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the U.S. based on their egregious behavior. All trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The governor of Canada, Mark Carney, he weighed in.
Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus of this trip.
Mark Carney says, oh, screw you guys. I'll work with China. All right. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. It's 11 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Another deadly U.S. strike on suspected drug traffickers. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth today announcing the attack in international waters killed 6, what he called narco-terrorists, on a vessel he said was operated by Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan criminal group the Trump administration has designated a terrorist organization. Here's ABC News senior national policy reporter Ann Flaherty.
Everybody is wondering if there's going to be an incursion in Venezuela or, on land, as President Trump has threatened repeatedly. What we are seeing with this latest strike, that it still is in international waters. So for now, there is no escalation. It's more of the same of what we've seen since September 2nd.
Now, 43 people have been killed in the 10 U.S. military strikes on vessels in the Caribbean and the Pacific. Got a report on inflation today. Here's ABC's Alexis Christoforous.
This report is out 9 days late because of the government shutdown. The government only called workers back to compile this report because this particular inflation report is used to determine the cost of living adjustment for Social Security benefits next year. The White House just moments ago came out and said do not expect the inflation report for November to be released if the government shutdown continues.
Yeah, inflation in September came in below economists' expectations of 3.1%. Looks like the consumer price index rose 0.3% in September, down from 0.4% in August. And it looks like gasoline prices were the culprit for the rise. Exploding airbags in cars have caused deaths in the U.S. Here's ABC's Maggie Rulli.
Federal regulators are now investigating a Chinese company whose airbag parts have exploded, causing deaths during crashes in the U.S. Officials say at least 6 people were killed when the company's airbag inflators ruptured and sprayed shrapnel into passengers. The cases involved airbags installed in 2 cars, the Chevy Malibu and the Hyundai Sonata.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm excited for the weekend. You guys excited for the weekend? Who's hype?
I'm big hype.
Me too.
Starting tonight, I'm going to watch scary movies and eat special popcorn.
Let's go. What kind of special popcorn?
We put M&Ms in it.
Let's go.
Nice.
That sounds like a wild weekend at the Weaver household.
Yeah, I end up eating all the M&Ms.
Base Ken. He goes in.
I just kind of, I sneak them. I make my family think that they've eaten them.
We got baseball playoffs tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And I want everybody to understand that there is no betting scandal happening in the Murfreesboro Little League, okay?
All right.
Those are all rumors. Nothing has been proven.
Nasty rumors.
And I'll be by the third baseline if you want to get in on the action. I do think some of those parents are in on it. I do. Some of them, I'm like, I think you have money on the game.
Have you coached your son on, making those batters a little nervous there whenever he's behind the plate?
I'm coaching him on how to throw the game. I said, you might not be able to make money in baseball professionally, but that doesn't stop us today, son.
That's right.
That's
right. Just let a few go behind you, son.
Just let it. You tripped. You tripped. I'm just kidding. I'm not encouraging my son to throw the game. So I'd be like, that's not right. You shouldn't teach those kids to throw the game. I know. I don't teach them that. Just their sports heroes do.
Yeah.
I think that the NBA cheating scandal is much bigger than anybody wants to admit.
Oh.
I think it goes way deeper. But we'll never find out about it. They'll shut this thing down as quickly as humanly possible. I hope somebody starts narking. I hope one of those guys starts singing like a canary.
Boy. That's a bold adventure right there, dude. With the families allegedly involved.
Let's go.
Better be careful.
It's crazy, man. I like it, though. I think it's a fun story, one that we'll be paying attention to if any new developments become available. I tried to watch it, see if there was any stories on it on the sports news sites, and nothing really. Like the ESPNs of the world, they don't want to talk about it. They put up a story and they limited the comments. Same with like the Bleacher Report app. They posted the story, but they turned off the comments.
Yeah, there's no telling how deep this thing goes, man.
I bet you it implicates everyone if you look hard enough.
Well, and look at the timing. Right as the season starts.
It's beautiful timing. Did you see Stephen A. Smith blaming Trump?
No.
Stephen A. Smith.
I did.
He blamed Donald Trump. So the investigation starts in 2019. Yes, Trump is the president in 2019. That's understandable. But the Biden DOJ did the brunt of the investigation. And the games that have been called into question by Terry Rozier were during the Biden administration. It was in 2022 and 2023. I will say, as a Celtics fan, Terry Rozier absolutely threw Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals in 2018. There's no question about it. And I think that we should stretch this investigation back to then. But Stephen A. Smith wanted to blame Donald J. Trump.
How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'm going to say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story.
And it's all Donald Trump's fault. It has nothing to do with the NBA players betting on the game. It has nothing to do with the prop bets. It has nothing to do with Chauncey Billups and the wild poker games that he was the lure, and they went after the fish. That has nothing to do with that. It has to do with Donald Trump. I don't know who's going to tell Stephen A. Smith. I think it's actually a brilliant strategy because I do think that Stephen A. Smith is going to run for president. But who's going to wake Stephen A. Smith up and say, hey, bud, Trump is focused on some bigger things than the NBA betting scandal. And if we're not going to get charges against Democrats who are absolutely standing in the way of ICE, But do we really expect him to be going after NBA players? It just seems so BS. It's Donald Trump's fault. Trump is a little busy, and the Trump administration is on offense right now. We have Pam Bondi last night. Excuse me. She was on, I think it was Jesse Waters' show, and she announced that there are investigations into Illinois' Governor J.B. Pritzker, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and others, up to and including possibly Nancy Pelosi, for impeding ICE agents. Nancy Pelosi was saying that we should have the right to arrest ICE agents in California. Pam Bondi says, save your records.
J.B. Beck, Ribs, Pritzker, they're doxing, they're telling people the whereabouts of ICE agents. Is that legal?
No. And Jesse, first time I've seen the Lori Lightfoot video is just now on your show. She will be getting a letter from us tomorrow to preserve anything that she's done as well to make sure that she's not violating the law. It appears she is. You cannot disclose the identity of a federal agent, where they live, anything that could harm them. Pritzker, same ball game with him. And, you know, Pelosi got a letter today from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. So did Brooke Jenkins, that DA in San Francisco. We told them, preserve your emails, preserve everything you have on this topic, because if you are telling people to arrest our ICE officers, our federal agents, you cannot do that. You're impeding an investigation, and we will charge them if they think they have not met me, because we will charge them if they are violating the law. We will protect our federal agents. They're out there working nonstop, as you're showing right now during a shutdown. These people are out there working to keep Californians safe, yet you've got Pelosi out there saying to obstruct their investigation. You can't do it, and we're going to investigate her now, as well as that DA. And Pritzker's on the list too, Jess.
I love the idea of investigations. I want arrests. I hope that these investigations are quick. I hope that the punishment is swift. I hope that they throw the book at these individuals. I'm not going to hold my breath. FBI Director Kash Patel, though, echoed these comments from Pam Bondi on the Laura Ingraham show last night, saying that they would arrest anyone that is endangering ICE agents' lives, up to and including any of them doxing these ICE agents on ICE tracker apps. And we talked about this a lot yesterday. California is going to be doing their own ICE tracker app with taxpayer dollars on their own governmental websites. It's insane, but this is what we're up against.
These application companies and have these apps actually deleted and permanently removed. That's the immediate solution. But if these people continue to endanger the lives of law enforcement, you bet this FBI is going to chase every single one of them down. No one is allowed to touch a cop on my watch, and no one's going to touch a cop on our watch. And on the off chance that they do or participate in a scheme via an app or otherwise that does so, they will find themselves in handcuffs, just like so many of those that have tried to hurt law enforcement in the past. But now law enforcement is so well respected thanks to President Trump's leadership and the establishment of this Homeland Security Task Force. The American people are seeing what cops can do when you let them be cops.
Yeah, we didn't need any new legislation. We just needed to enforce the laws on the books. We've gone over this in a couple different scenarios. And it seems like once you take the handcuffs off police, they can do police work again. It's a wild concept, and it's one that infuriates the Democrats and their base. Caroline Levitt was talking about this yesterday, though. The fact that the Democrats creating a master ICE tracker in California is putting ICE agents' lives at risk. And this needs to be dealt with. This was Caroline Levitt yesterday reacting to Karen Bass and Robert Garcia in their big old press conference where they were bragging about their new doxing platform.
This is actively putting the lives of our ICE agents at risk. We've seen media outlets, in fact, in this room, also write stories about ICE tracker apps that Democrats and other left-wing activists have created to track the location of ICE agents on the ground in our communities. Again, I've said this repeatedly, and I will continue to say it. The men and women of ICE are outstanding people. I wish a Democrat on Capitol Hill would actually have the courage or the guts to stand up to their party and sit down with some of these men and women who are doing this incredibly difficult job of enforcing our federal immigration laws. They are, again, simply trying to enforce the law and do their jobs. And if Democrats spent a little bit more time understanding that and also focusing on the people who they are trying to get out of our country every single day. As I spoke about earlier, 3 innocent people in California are dead because an illegal alien who Democrats let into this country was wrongfully issued a trucker's driving license and clearly was not fit for the job because he was driving intoxicated and killed 3 innocent people. Democrats should focus a little bit more on that. Stop trying to fight this president and this administration on every turn and restore law and order. That's all that we and these brave men and women of ICE are trying to do.
That's it. Restore law and order. And these ICE agents are doing this right now, not getting paid because of the Democrats and the government shutdown. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. Let's go to Gary in Dixon. What's up, Gary?
It's Jerry. That's okay.
Oh, what's up, man? How we doing?
How you doing? How you doing there, Chris? Long time no speak. Okay. So you know me. I'm all about double speak and exposing all the nonsense that these people put out on the left. We need to stop calling it a government shutdown. It is not a shutdown. It's a vacation. All of these people out there protesting because they're laid off or whatever on furlough, they will get back pay. They're using the Employee Fairness Act, which needs to be changed, and they will get all the money back. Now, you tell me, Chris, what job in this country do you get paid to sit home when you go back to work?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
The only one is the unions, and that's their money that they negotiated, and that's a different story. We're talking taxpayer money going to people sitting home doing nothing. They're not even working from home.
But I will say this. If you're out there and you're putting your life on the line like an ICE agent, I think that you deserve to get paid. And you shouldn't be having you shouldn't be having your car repoed or anything like that.
Right.
And then that lays squarely at the feet of the Democrats.
Yeah, that's critical infrastructure. The military and ICE and law enforcement and
air traffic control. Yep.
Air traffic. They're the only people, and really, the military that got forced to leave because they refused a COVID shot, they deserve back pay, and Trump is giving it to them. Yep. All these 70,000 government employees, too bad. You got the gravy train for how many years? No one gets those kind of benefits. Paid vacation, paid everything, gold, medical plan. Boo-hoo. You sit home. It's not a shutdown. It's a vacation until they change that rule, and Trump needs to change that rule.
I'm with you, Jerry. I'm sorry, and I appreciate you, man. Let's go to Robert. You're up next on Super Talk. What's up, Rob?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear. What do you got?
First of all, I used to be part of the 33rd Fighter Wing at Eglin Air Force Base, so I know a few military things.
Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Hoorah, 33rd Nomads. Have I misheard, or have the Democrats directly said that they want funding for illegal immigrants in order to reopen the government? Did I hear that right? That they've literally said that, or that's just...
Yeah, they want an extension of the Medicaid benefits that was benefiting illegal aliens.
Okay, so my question here is, if they're, best I can tell, and this is only my personal opinion, they're literally holding U.S. military paychecks hostage to get benefits for illegal immigrants. Is there anything the military families can legally do toward them for doing that?
No, I mean, I don't think that there is. I think that military families' hands would be tied, and I think it's even worse than that. Yesterday, they had an opportunity to vote for reappropriating funds that would pay U.S. military personnel and essential workers. This vote took place yesterday, and it failed. And it failed because of the Democrats. They could have voted for this, paid the military, kept the government shut down, been able to dig their heels in, and they chose not to.
Okay, they need to. Trump needs to find some way that allows the military to do something legally against these, since they're wanting. They're basically saying, "Hey, we don't want the U.S. military paid unless we can, give money and funds and benefits to people you're supposed to be protecting us from."
Yep. I hear you, man. It's infuriating as all get out, and I think that we should be I mean, it's so funny, the government telling you who's essential and who's not, right? Once again, we're back in a place like that. And I think that of the most essential, it is the military, and I don't want any of the military families having to worry about their car payment or their rent.
Find some kind of legal means for the military families to be able to strike back at them holding their paychecks hostage like that.
I'm with you, Rob, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the show. It is 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Investigators in the deadly AES explosion in McEwen say they've determined where it started, but still don't know how. We got your update coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It is 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I got so many text messages of people saying Stephen A. Smith is in on the NBA betting scandal. He's complicit He may be. You know what you do in the mainstream media if you're guilty of something, right? It's the quickest way to get out of it. I've learned it from years of watching the media. If you did something wrong and you accuse Trump of it, it's like a get out of jail free card.
Deflection.
People are saying that that's a admission of guilt by Stephen A. Smith, saying Trump had something to do with the NBA betting scandal. I also got people that are agreeing with me on Terry Rozier throwing Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals in 2018. I got Terry Rozier. He's the player that was involved. You ready for this? So Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. He was 10 of 16, 6 for 10 from the three-point line, 2 of 2 from the free throw. Okay? Then you had Game 7, and he was 2 of 14, 0 for 10 from the three-point line. He threw that game.
That's quite a change.
Terry Rozier threw that game. The NBA is so shady. So shady on so many levels. Nothing we didn't know. I didn't think that the NBA was rigged with the magnetic basketball and the hoop. Have you seen some of those TikToks?
I have not.
You haven't seen what are you following on TikTok?
Recipes.
Oh.
And people falling down.
I watch a lot of people falling down.
It's pretty funny.
I can't help myself.
Sometimes I got to turn away, though, because it actually looks painful.
I feel myself turning into an awful person when I'm watching those videos laughing because my wife will be like, what's so funny? I'll be like, look at this. And she's like, that's horrible. It's like, you are a bad person. She's like, you need to put your phone down and pray more. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And then you go right back to
I'm like, but look at this little kid. He had no balance. I can't help it. We got a lot of topics to cover, not a lot of time, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. There's a new hoax for the Democrat Party, and the new hoax that they're pushing is that Donald Trump only cares about his big, beautiful ballroom. There was a moment in the press conference yesterday where Caroline Leavitt was asked about the big, beautiful ballroom, but what she was really asked was about the construction projects. Democrats are editing this clip out of context and saying that Donald Trump's only priority at the moment is the big, beautiful ballroom.
Go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden
I'm going
patio,
into the back. Sorry. Go ahead.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
So there's the question. In addition to the Rose Garden and the patio, are there any other construction projects here at the White House? That's the question. Now, if you see this on Democrat Twitter, or if you've been brave enough to find yourself on Blue Sky, what you'll hear is only this portion, which is just the response from Caroline Leavitt.
Not to my knowledge, no. But he's a builder at heart, clearly. And so his heart and his mind is always churning about how to improve things here on the White House grounds. But at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority.
And the Democrats lose their mind. What? The ballroom is his main priority? Because they take the clip and they put it out of context. It's similar to how they executed the Very Fine People hoax. And I'm totally condemning the Nazis. I'm not talking about the Nazis, which is the longer clip, but they shorten it up. They tighten it up for social media. Then they send it out. And then Democrats lose their mind collectively. We knew it. The orange man doesn't care about this country. The orange man is only worried about his big, beautiful ballroom. But you need the context. You need the question. Be on hoax alert all weekend long. They're gonna use that clip over and over on the Sunday shows. I guarantee it is going to be a setup, an alley-oop, if you will, if we're staying with basketball terminology because of the betting scandal, for any leftist that is on Meet the Press or George Slopadopoulos' show. They'll play that clip from Caroline Leavitt and they'll say, tell us how you feel about the big, beautiful ballroom being the main priority of the president. And they'll say, oh, this is terrible. This is awful. Trump is only worried about Trump. Guaranteed. Get ready, because on Monday, when it inevitably happens, I'm going to bring receipts, and I'm going to say I told you so. It's 11:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now in Tennessee, investigators just updated the deadly AES explosion in McEwen. They say they've determined where the explosion started. They still don't know why. Channel 4's Dryden Quigley reports.
They pinpointed the spot where the blast started, which was on the lower floor production level of the building near kettles. Now, those kettles were used, we learned recently, to make gas boosters that are used in commercial mining. They said after one of those went off, it set off others on the main floor. In total, it was somewhere between 24 and 28,000 pounds of explosives that were set off.
The on-site investigation again has concluded, but lab testing will continue for weeks, even months, to determine the cause. 16 people were killed, and a wrongful death lawsuit has been filed against the company. Outside a courthouse in Virginia, supporters chanting, "We stand with Tish," after New York Attorney General Letitia James entered a not guilty plea today on a fraud case alleging she misled a bank to get a more favorable mortgage.
I have this belief in the justice system, in the rule of law, and I have a belief in America and all of its individuals who have stood with me, not only in New York, but all across this nation.
James defense counsel Abby Lowell says they'll pursue motions to dismiss the case based on what they say is vindictive or selective prosecution out of retribution. The rate of inflation in the U.S. is up this past month, but less than expected. ABC's Alexis Christoforous.
Day to day, we're paying more for a lot of the basics, and that's what this report shows us. Inflation now up 3% year over year, well above the Fed's target of 2%. Where did we see a rise? Gas prices. Big problem here, up 4%, the highest contributor to inflation last month. Food, rent, airfare, furniture. All of those prices moved up last month.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by my friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Keep up with me all weekend long as we're heading into the weekend. At Chris Hand on air on all your favorite social media platforms and even the ones you hate. I'm on Twitter, True Social, Instagram. Those are my big ones. TikTok, I jump in there occasionally. And Blue Sky, we do a little bit of trolling. We do a little bit of trolling on Blue Sky. All of them, and YouTube. Chris Hand on air. Find me, hit follow. I will follow back. Blue Sky is slowly becoming one of my favorite social media platforms. And I do it just for the trolling. Your big Democrat accounts, they have a lot of followers and comments and stuff. But the medium Democrat accounts, it's the best. It's the best. Like people like Randy Weingarten. I think I said this yesterday. Or I might have said it on the podcast. Me and Dan have a new podcast dropping tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., mostly peaceful. Get ready for that. So, but Randy Weingarten's on Blue Sky, and she'll post something, and it'll sit there for like 7 hours without a comment. So I've taken it upon myself to drop sarcastic Trump gifs in the comments. You can join me there. You can help me. We can build this army together. Chris Hand on air on Blue Sky. It's a trash platform other than that. Right now, it's time for everybody's favorite segment of the day. King Louie, you ready for everybody's favorite segment of the day?
Let's do it.
It's the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
All the stories that couldn't fill a whole segment, stories that we didn't have an opportunity to get to, we run through it at the end of the day, and we call it the lightning round. Let's go. That's some quick lightning. Mandis was talking to me. Mandis said, I love the lightning round. I said, of course, everybody loves the lightning round. He said, I want to do something like that. I said, you should. And he said, I'm going to call it the thunder round. I said, it's a little too close for comfort. Maybe call it the Thunder Dome. He liked that. Well, Mandis is going to do something like that. You got to do it. In this news cycle, it is so hard to get to every single story. And even last night, I was like, man, it feels a little slow. And then I realized I'm on like 8 pages of show prep. And it's like, that's a slow week in the Trump administration. It's bananas. First story in the lightning round. Big Tish James, maybe you've heard of her. She has officially pleaded not guilty to mortgage fraud.
New York Attorney General Letitia James just pleaded not guilty in federal court in Norfolk, Virginia. It is her first court appearance on a 2-count bank fraud indictment tied to a 2020 home purchase. Prosecutors say Letitia James signed a second home rider agreeing the property would be for her personal use, which got her a better loan term. They say she then rented that house out to a family member instead of actually living in it. Expected to file now, she and her attorneys, a motion to dismiss the case, which she has called vindictive and selective prosecution. She's expected to speak at any moment outside court. We will take you there live. Remember, she ran on taking down Trump.
Yeah, I mean, that's an important point. This is vindictive, says the woman who campaigned on getting Trump. Now, here's the thing. She's arraigned there in Norfolk, Virginia. Will she be found guilty? Maybe, maybe not. I'll be honest with you. Norfolk's given from this side because the process is the punishment. Make no mistake about it. The process is painful, and it needs to be. This woman went after Trump with everything she had, and then we find out that she's renting this home to not just anybody, her niece, who happens to be a fugitive from justice, by the way. It's just a little bit of fun fact. Her grandniece that she's renting this home to was charged in 2024 with lying on her application to buy a firearm, and she has a violent juvenile conviction. Maybe they should look into that. Will she be found guilty? Maybe. Maybe not. But the process is the punishment. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. Where are we going? All right, I got another one. Americans, believe it or not, trust Donald Trump with the economy. I know after the fear-mongering, after the egg prices After the tariffs causing inflation, most Americans trust Donald Trump on the economy.
About. Well, Matt was mentioning about the econ playing such an important role in last year's presidential election. The top problem facing the U.S. is economic per Gallup. Last year, look at this, 43% at this time, 43% of Americans said the top problem was economic. Come to this side of the screen. It's just considerably different. We're talking about 24%. We're talking about a drop of near 20 points. And more than that, we're talking about across all of the different political groups, right? Democrats, independents, Republicans. We see that the percentage who say the top problem is economic has been falling.
Could that be because Donald Trump is reshoring manufacturing, gaining $20 trillion in investments, and winning these trade wars with foreign nations, balancing out the trade imbalances that we saw, be it tariff barriers or non-traditional trade barriers? Yeah, I think that has to do a lot with it. 43% of the American public, Democrats, independents, Republicans, in October of 2024, said that this was a major issue. And it's down to 24% today, just a year later.
Falling through the floor. And more than that, we're talking about inflation. The percentage of Americans who say that the top problem is inflation has also been falling, which is, I think, very much surprising given all the news that we are hearing about the economy.
All the fake news.
It really is surprising. How does this compare to the historical look at how people feel about the economy?
Okay, so, let's talk about, we'll go through history, right? Let's take a look. The top problem facing the United States is economic. In the average midterm election, it's 35%. It's 35%. Look at where we are now. Again, it's 24%. It is lower. Fewer Americans right now are saying the top problem is economic than historically have said that the top problem is economic.
That is because of Donald Trump. That is because we have a businessman running the White House and the federal government. And that's because he knows how to make a deal. These other Democrats have no idea what they're doing. They had no idea under Biden. And it seems like everybody's still catching up to Trump, who is light years ahead of all of them. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. And we got a lot of stories, man. We got a lot of stories. I got one happy story that I'll save for the end because I feel like let's end the week on some good news. Let's for this story let's choose rage instead, shall we? The governor of Illinois had a sit down with Brett Baer yesterday. J.B. Pritzker, maybe you've heard of him. Jesse Waters keeps calling him JB Backribs. J.B. Pritzker sat down with Brett Baer. A lot of people criticizing Brett Baer on the interview, saying that it was a softball. He didn't push back, all these things. But during the interview, he did push back a little bit, and he pushed back on Chicago's crime rate.
Chicago have the highest murder rate of all the big cities.
Well, we are not in the top 30 in terms of our murder rate. Indeed,
well,
our murder rate it has been cut in half over the last 4 years, and every year it's gone down by double digits. And if you look at all of the violent crime over the last 4 years,
here's a map.
They've all gone down.
U.S. cities, 17.47 per 100,000 population. Chicago is number one over Philadelphia, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, New York, and San Diego.
What I'm explaining to you
now
is
you're
when
talking
you want to
about
fight
violent
crime. Look, you can pull statistics up.
No,
I can
these are
too.
murders.
I'm explaining to you that our murder rate has been cut in half. And very importantly, Brett, and you got to hear this, very importantly, we've been doing the things that are necessary to bring crime down, right? We've invested in community violence interruption.
Oh, hey, we've been doing the things. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, you saw the video of J.B. Pritzker get visibly panicked when Brett Baer decided to pull up a map highlighting Chicago's murder rate and highlighting the fact that they are number one. Per 100,000. You guys are the worst. Believe it or not. He knows. He should have known that he was going to walk into something like that, but he's J.B. Pritzker. He's J.B. Pritzker. I don't know if he's that dumb or if he's up to that level of gaslighting. He went on, and he said that ICE agents are literally, not figuratively, literally grabbing and tackling people in the streets who are citizens in Chicago, and that these guys are out of control. And while he's saying this, it's just important to point out, once again, which we often do, that if J.B. Pritzker, the state of Illinois, or Chicago would let ICE agents into the jails, nobody would need to be tackled on the streets. If you honored immigration detainers, they could get the worst first, inside the jails and make it safer for everyone involved. J.B. Pritzker doesn't want to do that.
No one in Washington, no one above them, no supervisor, no inspector general is holding anybody accountable. There literally haven't been any suspensions or firings for the terrible things that they've done, literally grabbing people, tackling them when they're U.S. citizens and have done zero
You've
wrong.
referred to ICE as Kristi Noem's thugs. Would you be willing to do a ride-along with ICE in Chicago to get a better understanding about what they do and what they deal with?
I can see what they do on the streets of Chicago. And
Do you see him get visibly uncomfortable? Brett Baer says, would you be, if this is what you think that they're doing, would you be willing to go for a ride-along with ICE agents? A question that J.B. Pritzker wasn't prepared for. A lot of people said that Brett Baer was soft in this interview. I found some good moments where he did push back. And he didn't let JB just push his own narrative and gaslight the public. Although, let's be honest, the audience on Fox News is going to see right through it, even if he allowed that. Would you be willing to go for a ride-along with Kristi Noem? And you can see the panic in his face as he's processing the question that's been asked of him. Again, you're seeing all this if you're watching us on Supertalk TV. But he says, I see what they're doing. Do you now? Because you push nonstop lies.
I can see what they do on the streets of Chicago. And
Are there any ICE agents that are good? ICE agents that are good?
Of course. The problem is who's holding the bad ones accountable? Because the bad ones, frankly, are the ones that we're seeing all the time. And then you have Bovino on Fox News saying, oh, they're very professional. They're doing everything by the book.
Why?
Then you have Bovino on Fox News saying that they're very professional. They're doing everything by the book. Because they are. They're up against so much violence in Chicago. Just today, we saw an increase in violence at the Broadview, Illinois facility. You have protesters showing up with masks and shields. I'm of the belief that these protesters are getting paid for this. I don't think that this is something that happens organically. Not at all. And we know that while he talks a lot of crap about Bovino, he's just pushing that same violent rhetoric of the left. Bovino had bounties placed on his head by cartel members. Like, give the guy a break. Somebody's going to get shot and killed because of the rhetoric of the left here. And it's going to be sad when it happens, but it's going to be expected. And somebody's going to need to be held accountable for it. And I do fear that they won't hold these Democrats accountable. They should. This was this morning at the Broadview, Illinois ICE facility. Chaos, if you will. And again, I'm of the opinion that these protesters, air quotes, are paid.
And not back the law enforcement and not cooperate with ICE, but on investigating them. Ask them. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin is in Broadview, Illinois. Mike.
And Harris, the protesters you're talking about are gathered here early in the morning. They're about 200 strong right now. We see some of them with their painters' masks and wooden shields, ready for a conflict as they sometimes flare here at the Broadview location. Meantime, as you mentioned, Illinois governor...
Ready for a conflict, they say. Ready for a conflict. Got another story for you here in the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
I actually like bringing the music back to the top. I told you I would end with some good news. And you know, we got to end with some good news. Let's play a little bit of What's That Sound. You'll get a picture on the stream, but if you're listening on the radio or iHeart or TuneIn, I want you to listen to this sound and tell me what you think it is. I'm gonna lower it a little bit screechy. Oh, that's so sad. What you heard there was a 3-month-old puppy stuck between, two huge, massive boulders. If you're watching on the stream, you see this young puppy. I mean, this guy is stuck. Completely stuck. And firefighters stepped in and saved the day. Let's end with a little good news. We don't do good news often. We're not good at good news, but I like this story. Firefighters came to the rescue of this 3-month-old puppy in Ramona, California. And we don't often say nice things about California, but I think that we should in this case. The rescue required the use of technical gear and urban search and rescue crew to extract this puppy from its predicament. Video from Cal Fire shows the Great Pyrenees puppy named Zoe cry as it wiggles between these two massive boulders. Urban search and rescue, 12 Deer Springs, and firefighters from Engine 82 Ramona were deployed to the rescue and used a combination of pneumatic airbags, ropes, and hoses to free the distressed canine. Zoe was reunited with her grateful owner, tail wagging, spirits high. We're so glad, and this is local news. It's not I'm not writing this. We're so glad this rough situation had a happy ending. I was happy sharing the good news until I got to that line. I was. Now I'm just disappointed. They could have got a better one. They could have got a better headline. It's 11:53. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Investigators just updated the deadly AES explosion in McEwen. Says they've figured out where the blast started, but still don't know how or why. We'll get you the latest at noon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:59. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Chad Benson's in studio. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I got a couple $100. What's it looking like tonight in the game? Anybody injured that I should know about? Over, under?
No injuries.
Okay, good.
No injuries. There is no betting scandal in the Murfreesboro Little League. And if you'd like me to explain to you how there is no betting scandal, I'll be on the third baseline. Cash only. Cash only.
That's it. Don't make me come looking for you.
We're teaching these kids the hard lessons. You're going to take a fall in the third inning.
That's right. Hey, you know what, though? Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. That's so awesome.
What are you talking about today on the show? What are you focused on?
More of that NBA stuff, which is wilder and wilder.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. It is so crazy. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Venezuela. Oh, Venezuela. We're coming to Venezuela.
I'm a huge fan. Bomb everything.
Venezuela.
We'll sort it out. Did you hear what Trump said?
What?
When he was talking about
how he doesn't need to talk to anybody.
It was the best answer ever. They said, "Sir, are you going to be speaking with Congress to declare war on the narco terrorists?" And he goes, "No." He's like, "Why would I do that?"
These cartels, and Congress is likely to approve of that process. Why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay.
It's just so good.
But we're going to kill them in their country.
It's going to be so Trump. It's just so Trump, though. We're going to kill them, and they're going to be like dead. Okay?
They're going to be dead in their country.
There's not going to be anything to ask. Why would we need to ask you about that?
Oh, no declaration of war. So we'll talk about that. We got a bunch of other wacky, crappy, crazy stuff.
If you kill them in their country, we don't have to clean up the mess.
No, we don't. That's very true. That's what we're going to find out. How many do we even send? Or we just sending missiles?
I think missiles all day.
Drones?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's where warfare is nowadays.
Hey, we gotta step our game up.
Where's our robots?
Russia's been getting all the drone practice. We should do it with the cartels.
Where's our robots?
Robot dogs are invading.
Those are the birds.
Oh, that's right. Well, birds aren't real.
Well, we have seen less and less birds since the government shutdown. Conspiracy? I think not. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.